Good evening. Happy Wednesday. Yeah. Uh, Let me grab my drinks and then we get started. Yeah, I grabbed the whiteboard because I made some error in the making sure my zipper is closed. Sorry. Um, I have to correct myself. Okay, I made some error. Okay, so in the disproof of special relativity, I made some error there. Okay, so I have to correct myself, and yeah, that's why we're gonna need whiteboard. So today I didn't write. I just got off work, and because like last night I think I realized I made an error in the disproof of special relativity. Then is special relativity still wrong or right? I think it's still wrong. Okay, we have they have what's called twin paradox, and there's this Wikipedia article about that. They say this result is already resolved, but I'm not convinced. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna approach the twin paradox way, kinda. Okay, and I already have come up with some alternative disproof. Okay, but the disproof I gave uh, last time, that's not correct disproof. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, made an error. Okay, so okay. Uh, so let's start brand new. Okay, so I use the name that I used in the paper. I wrote like 5 pages, and I have to correct what I wrote so far. But I leave it as it is. But just like then in the next section, I'll just explain where I erred, and no problem. Okay, so it goes like this. So, well, do you have some nice black pen? If this black pen is not good, so oh, this one's good. All right, so discard that. Uh, my error was I didn't count in the length contraction in special relativity. Okay, I did not count that, and that's why I erred. I only thought about time dilation. Okay, so that was my error. Okay, all right. So, uh, let's say you have woman, a lady, Adele. Okay, and then you have three guys, suitors, Bob, Chad, and Don. Okay, right. So we put Adele right here. Okay, so Adele, she has this big basket, whatever, right? And then let's say this time zero, right? And you have nobody there. So you have a train, okay? At the back of this train car, the very first train car, all right? there is Bob right here, okay? And there you have Chad, and there you have Don, okay? So yeah, you only need 3 train cars. And the train is going east, toward the right. Okay. When train is stopped, Adele, she is not moving anywhere. She's just standing there, okay, with a big basket. And whenever these 3 guys pass by, right in front of Adele, they toss the bouquet of flowers to her basket. Okay. Well, actually, Adele is in a car, sports car, convertible, open cover. Okay, and they toss the bouquet of flowers, each of them, to backseat of her car. Okay, so that's the setting. And before the train start moving east, uh, all their clocks are synchronized. Okay, right. Now, and when they are parked, when they are at rest, nobody's moving anywhere. Okay, they measure the length of each car, and that each car in this train is 10 meters long, right? So you have 0 meter, 10 meter, 20 meter, 30 meter mark. Okay, that's the length, right? 0 meter. Okay, now the train starts moving. Okay, and let's, for the sake of simplicity, it goes instantly from 0 meter per second to 10 meter per second. Okay, 10 meters per second. So, and Adele is started when train started moving. Adele started the stopwatch, so she's measuring time. Okay, and so does these 3 guys. They also make the stopwatch as well. Okay, they're measuring the time. All right. So, when Bob passes Adele by, what would be the measured time according to Adele, and what would be also the measured time according to Bob? Okay, so that's yeah. Would it be 1 second? Okay, so they are going 10 meter per second. Okay. How do we know? How can we measure 10 meter per second? It's a little bit tricky actually. Okay, so let's say the head of this train. Okay. Let's say this train starts way back there, right? And here is the 10 meter mark. Okay? So, even if, so length contraction is this, according to Mr. Einstein, okay? Time dilation is such that if this train is moving and Adele is standing still, then these people, moving people's time slows down. When 1 second passes by, for these moving people, their time clock slows down, so only 0.9 second passes by. Okay, so that's time dilation. Time slows down. Okay, length contraction is that a moving train, right? When it's seen by Adele, it shrinks in length. Okay, so yeah, but yeah, the total length of this train shrinks, but the head of this train is just 1 point in one-dimensional space. It cannot shrink. If it is, because it has no length, this 1 point, the head of this train, okay? But from head to tail of this long train, yeah, it has length that is more than 0. So that's why it can shrink, okay? But length is the point itself that does not have any length 0, it does not shrink because it cannot shrink more than 0, right? Okay, you cannot have negative time or negative length. Okay, it's non-zero. I mean, non-negative number, pure scalar. That's time and space. You cannot have negative space or negative time. Okay, all right. We'll take 5 minutes. Okay, yeah, we'll take 5 minutes. It's very interesting to think about, right? Yeah. Physics. Yeah. Physics is fun. Okay, so we are having a lot of fun, right? Good. So, okay, so when the train shrinks, okay, it can shrink 3 ways. It can shrink toward the middle, it can shrink toward the back, it can shrink toward the front, right? But when it comes to measuring the speed of this train, it does not matter. Why? Because we're gonna measure the speed of train like this, okay? So you have there's Adele, and you have 0 meter mark. Okay, let's say this train has this is running in circle, kinda, or we can go back and forth, does whatever, right? And in front part of this train, it has this arm, okay, made with wood, metal, doesn't matter, okay. And this 0 meter mark and 0 meter mark and 10 meter mark, it also has this arm made with wood or metal, some optical, maybe this arm could be a laser beam, and this 10 meter mark, 0 meter mark, it may have some photoreceptor sensor, photo sensor, laser sensor, okay? Yeah. So we can measure time between when this laser hits this sensor here and sensor here as train passes by eastward. Measure the time, we already know the length of this distance between two sensors, photo sensors, laser sensors, okay? Yeah. So we have time and length, so we have speed, okay? And let's say when the train hits 10 meter mark and between and the next time when it hit the 0 meter mark, let's say that's, well, let's say it takes 1 second according to Adele's clock, stopwatch. Okay, so it's 10 meters per second, right? But according to Mr. Einstein, the length shrinks. Okay, so it will be like it will become between the front of the train and to the back of this car, fourth car in this train, it shrink to 9 meters. Alright, so Adele, according to Adele's watch, when Bob passes by, okay, from here to there, she'll measure the time as 0.9 seconds. Right? Why? Because you have velocity or speed is equal to space over time, right? And your 1 meter per second is equal to what is the distance? 9 meter, right? Over what's the time? I'm sorry, 10 meter per second, okay? 0.9 second. 10 meter per second, okay? So yeah, that's why Adele actually measures 0.9 second when Bob passes by. Chad, it will be 1.8 meter, 1.8 second mark. Don, 2.7 second mark. Okay. So that's that. And the second scenario, we'll grab a new whiteboard, okay? And yeah, we'll save this, okay? So basically, I failed to derive contradiction here. So that was not why it was not a disproof. Because I didn't consider length contraction, okay? I made the same mistake because this is not the first time I tried to disprove Mr. Einstein's theory. When I was in college, like 20 years ago, I made the same mistake. I didn't factor in the length contraction, okay? But my kind and generous professor in physics explained that to me, okay? He corrected where I erred, okay? 20 years later, I still made the same mistake. I didn't factor in the length contraction, okay? But I still believe Einstein's special relativity theory is wrong, and already came up with alternative disproof, kinda. Okay, so yeah, I have no beef with Mr. Einstein. I think he's a very cool guy. I like him a lot. Okay, it's just that when he's wrong, it's our job to correct him. Okay, so but I got no beef with him. Okay, so. So that's social distancing, okay? Although they're in the outside. Nah. In scenario number two, okay, so there was scenario number one. Just roll it down there, okay? So now this time Adele is moving west. With a 10 meter per second. Measured by the static observer. 3 guys, okay? Okay. So, according to 3 guys, Adele is moving 10 meter per second, right? So, uh, between here and here and here and here, so this is like 0 second, 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, according to the clocks of 3 guys, they are not going anywhere. They are not moving. Okay, yeah. That part, the train is not moving. It's Adele's sports car that's moving, comfortable sports car. Okay. And because, but according to Adele's clock, because there's time dilation, right? 0 second passes by, 0.9 second passes by, and 1.8 seconds pass by. So 2.7 seconds pass by. Okay, so it is consistent with scenario 1. Okay, so there's no contradiction there. I was wrong. I thought there was contradiction there, but there wasn't. At least in these scenarios, yeah, Einstein's special relativity is internally consistent. At least in this scenario, okay? But in some other scenarios, we'll find one where there is contradiction. Okay? Okay. Self-contradiction. Yeah. But it was my ethical obligation to come here and correct myself because I was wrong. Okay, so I'm sorry. It will happen once in a while, okay? Because I'm only human being. I make mistakes too. Okay, so human condition, making mistakes. Hmm. Mm. Yeah. We'll take 5 minutes, okay? Alright. Yeah. So yeah, my first attempt of disproving Mr. Einstein's special relativity failed. But how about the disproof of general relativity? I think it still holds. Okay, so but for special relativity, yeah, I did fail. Okay, so we'll make second attempt, and most likely we'll prevail. Okay, second time round. So, because I kind of have some ideas. Okay, so yeah. Okay. All right, but we'll take it nice and easy, nice and slow. Okay, all right. Let's take 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, let's take a break from all this. So I looked at the twin paradox Wikipedia article, and the writer, of course, there are multiple writers in any Wikipedia article, right? Twin paradox, it has long history. Okay, so it's a paradox, probably the most famous paradox in special relativity. Okay, so it goes like this. Okay, as a introduction, there's twin brothers. One of them stays in on Earth, and the other is astronaut. So astronaut brother, twin brother, travel, space travel, and then come back, and he's like 2 years younger than his the other twin brother who just stayed on Earth. Okay, so that doesn't quite sound right because I mean, in the universe, in empty space, let's say two twin brothers' names are Adam and Bob. Okay, so Bob left the Earth and came back, right? Adam just stayed here, but the same thing can be said in Bob's point of view. Adam went away and he came back. Okay, and then how is that only Bob is younger by 2 years after this space travel for 10 years or whatever. Okay, so that's twin paradox. And the resolution of this paradox, as they say, is that actually the Adam and Bob, they are not symmetric, and that is correct. Why? Because when Bob went out to the space and came back, he experienced acceleration and deceleration. When Adam didn't feel acceleration and deceleration. When your car speed up, your body kind of pulls back, right? Inertia, right? So yeah, that's correct. It is asymmetric, but there's way to fix that acceleration deceleration problem. That's the thought experiment scenario that I came up with this morning. Okay. Yeah. We'll grab another whiteboard. Okay, so whiteboard hunting. We'll use this guy, okay? Because the paper is already written, okay? So I don't need this. It's from past paper, so I'm writing a new paper, so yeah, I can safely erase all this. It's all written down. I submit to a journal. So, alright. So we'll get rid of this acceleration and inner deceleration problem in this scenario, brand new scenario. Okay, so let's say the three guys: Adam, Bob, Charlie. Okay. So Adam is here. He's not moving. He's not going anywhere. Okay. Adam. And just standing still, somewhere in the space. Okay. Let's say there's no curtain in the space. Okay, they're all spaceships, and so there are stars. Okay, they're so far away, they are not quite moving. Okay, so they are in this one frame of reference, the stars, galaxies. But they're so far away, they're not quite moving, okay? So they can position themselves. Let's say there's sun somewhere back there, okay? So they can plot this XYZ axis and, right? And establish their three-dimensional coordinate in space, right? So Bob is moving that way. Here's Bob, and he's going that way. 10 meters per second. Okay? When Bob passes Adam by, Adam tosses him a basketball, and Bob catches it. Let's say there are 3 basketball players. So they're good at catching balls. Okay? Don't worry about oxygen and whatnot, okay? They're in spacesuit, okay? And they are good basketball players, so they can catch balls, okay? When they are running, right? Yeah. Now, so Bob catches ball when Adam is right next to Bob. He tosses this basketball. Bob catches it, okay? And he just continues to travel eastward with 10 meters per second. Adam, 0 meters per second. Now, when Bob is right here, going 10 meters per second eastward, alright? There's a third basketball player, right? Charlie, who's going 10 meters per second westward. Okay? So when Charlie and Bob, when they are aligned vertically, yeah, Bob tosses the ball back to Charlie. I mean, to Charlie for the first time, okay? So now Charlie has the ball. Okay? And when Charlie is aligned with Adam, well, let's put Charlie down here. Okay? So Bob is going that way. So Adam first tossed the ball to Bob, and Bob continued to travel with 10 meters per second constant velocity. Okay? And when Charlie is aligned here with Bob, Bob tossed the ball to Charlie. Okay? And when Charlie passes by Adam, he passes this basketball back to Adam, the rightful owner of this basketball. Okay? Alright. So there's no acceleration deceleration problem here. Of course, the ball itself is accelerating and decelerating. Okay, so what? Okay. Yeah. We are separating this acceleration deceleration from the people. Yeah, the ball itself will feel the acceleration and deceleration, okay? Because we want to make this one very symmetric to the observers, okay? To avoid that problem in twin paradox when one brother is accelerating, decelerating, and the other brother is not, okay? In this scenario, none of the people, observers, are accelerating or decelerating. They are standing still or moving constant velocity to the east or to the west. Okay? To avoid that acceleration deceleration problem. Alright? Yeah. The ball itself is accelerating and decelerating, yes. Yes. Okay? So, but assume that they are not tossing the basketballs, but they are tossing the clock, stopwatch. Okay? Let's say some fancy basketball with stopwatch attached to it. It doesn't have to be that fancy. You have a ball, basketball, right? And one side of that you just scotch tape or wind around with just clear duct tape, a stopwatch, a clock. Okay, so a clock is traveling along with this basketball because we wound with this clear duct tape around it. Okay, so they are attached. Okay, and let's see what happens. Let's see if there we can derive any desired contradiction or not. That's our goal. Because I don't have a good gut feeling about this special relativity. I think it's wrong. All right. Again, I have nothing against Mr. Einstein. I think I like him. He's a really cool guy. I like him. He's a very good man. All right. But if he erred in physics, it's our job to correct him because that's scientist's job. We have to find the truth, right? And correct the falsehood, errors, mistakes, okay? Yeah, we are wearing scientist hat, okay? So we'll take 5 minutes break, okay? Okay. So, how are you doing? You're not confused by this, are you? I mean, it's just basketball tossing. I mean, hey, I'm not a sports spectator, but many of Americans are. They not just Americans. Many people in the world, in more westernized parts of the world, they watch basketball, right? This is what that is. It's just three guys tossing the balls to each other. So yeah, I mean, there's no need. There, I don't think anybody would get dizzy about this, right? We are watching the three guys playing basketball. That's all. Okay, so yeah, there's nothing confusing about this. So yeah, I don't think anybody got dizzy yet, and I don't think they will afterwards either, because this is very easy problem. Okay, so yeah, but let's take a break from all this. Okay, I'm not dizzy, but I'm just today's in my day job, lawyer job. It was not too busy, but I worked very hard. Okay, so I wanna relax. Okay, so let me get some more whiskey. Okay, so yeah. Okay. So I didn't write anything today, okay, because I realized I made an error. So it's time to step back and think it through. Correct. I already corrected my error, right? Yeah. So let's find some alternative disproof of Einsteinian special relativity, because it is very important that we do this. Okay. So yeah. Yeah. Back to square zero, square one. That's what we're doing. So okay, but let's take a break from this. So when I was reading this twin paradox article in Wikipedia years back, a couple of years back, okay. There are many authors in Wikipedia contributors, and we really appreciate their contribution. Okay, because they are doing it for free. They're volunteers, right? Yeah, we appreciate that. Right? But one author claimed that twin paradox, it came from naive misunderstanding of special relativity. When I read that word naive, I could tell, there's something wrong with this. Okay, because they are being very partial. They're not quite being a scientist. They are being more like a lawyer. I'm a lawyer by profession, okay? But whoever wrote this article, probably physicist. Maybe PhD, who got PhD degree in special theory of relativity. Okay? So I'm writing an article for political science, politics in science, okay? Because politics is human nature and also is human condition. Even if some person is a judge or scholar, they're still human beings, so they cannot be quite politically neutral, okay? So this physicist writing, characterizing twin paradox as a naive misunderstanding of special theory of relativity, that sounded more like a lawyer and not a scientist. Okay, I mean, let's say special theory of relativity is a big castle, house, right? And people who got PhD in physics writing dissertation paper about special theory of relativity, they paid the rent to live in this house of special theory of relativity. Okay? So twin paradox is like this demolition team to destroy this house of special theory of relativity. Okay? So, and these physicists are living inside of this house of special relativity that Mr. Einstein built. Okay? So they take it as their job to defend this house from efforts to demolish this house of special relativity. So they are not being objective, they are being partial, biased. And that's a big no-go in science. Also in judiciary too. Also in politics as well. Okay? So yeah, it's not just science area, it's in judiciary, it's in business, it's in politics, anywhere in the world, okay? Impartialness, unbiasedness, being neutral is a virtue, okay? But people are people, okay? They have human condition, okay? So even if they are they may be scientists or judges. To a certain extent, they are biased, okay? Because humans are humans. We are all people, okay? So, what? Yeah, they're defending special theory of relativity, okay? So, that's not desired attitude of scientists, all right? They're being more like lawyers. Lawyers, our job is to be partial. Judges, their job is to be neutral, like jury, okay? But lawyer's job is to be partial. We have our client. Our client may be defendant or plaintiff. The lawyer's ethical code is that our mission is to zealously represent the best interest of our client. Our job is to be biased on behalf of our clients. Okay? But jury's job, judge's job, their job is to be neutral, impartial. Okay? But lawyer's job is to be partial. Okay? And activists, their job is to be partial too. Okay? So, yeah, we are advocates. Okay? Yeah. But scientist's job, judge's job, juror's job, they have to be impartial. Politician's job, national leader's job, government official's job, yeah, they have to be impartial. Yeah, Hatcher's Act, right? Federal law, they have to be impartial as government employees, right? Okay. Yeah, that's why I'm publishing this in, trying to publish this in political science, not physics. But that's not the only reason. Physics journals, yeah, they probably require people to write in latex, okay, and I don't want to do it, okay. So they're asking me too much, okay. I'll just write in Microsoft Word, okay. So yeah, I'm a former computer programmer, so shame on me. But hey, I'm a lawyer now, okay, so I don't have time to learn a brand new markup language like LaTeX, okay. It just takes too much time, okay. Yeah. So I'm not gonna do it. Right? Okay. So we'll take 5 minutes break, okay. We'll take a break from break, all right, and then we'll continue this, okay. Let's see what happened to the clock attached to scotch tape to the basketball. Okay? Yeah. Let's think about the clock. Stopwatch, okay? So Yeah, I'm looking at Wikipedia article about special theory of relativity. Ah, boy. It's like David versus Goliath or Don Quixote, okay, versus this windmill building, right? Yeah. Oh well. Or maybe Samson in Old Testament and the Colosseum, right? Yeah. It's kind of ironic because Mr. Einstein is a descendant of Israelites, right? So it is ironic. Because Albert Einstein, okay, he's Jewish. He's descendant of Israel, right? Me, I'm a heathen, Gentile. I'm not Jewish. I'm Asian, right? So when it comes to David versus Goliath, it's between David, Jewish, versus Gentile, Goliath, Philistine, right? So that's the irony, okay? Me, small guy, Asian, Gentile, heathen. I'm not Jewish. But Mr. Albert Einstein is gigantic, kind of Goliathan figure. And I'm claiming that he's dinosaur mammoth. Yeah. Something that's outdated, okay? So I'm going after this big figure and he happened to be Jewish. So that's the irony. I'm not Jewish. I'm heathen Gentile, okay? I'm Asian, right? So I'm Korean American Alaskan, okay? So but it's kind of like David versus Goliath, okay? So that's the irony, okay? So, yeah, that's you can throw some dualism there, okay? So dualism, yeah, let's do it, okay? So yeah, in physical domain and metaphysical domain, okay? Uh, there's Jewish versus Gentile, okay? Jewish versus Gentile, okay? So physically, physically I'm Gentile. Metaphysically I'm a Jew, okay? Mr. Albert Einstein, physically he's a Jewish, but metaphysically he's Gentile because he's wrong, alright? Today he's majority gigantic. Back in his own days, he was very small guy. Okay, so yeah, that's what I can think of. Okay, 2x2 table. Okay, so yeah. We'll take 5 minutes. Or maybe 10 minutes. Okay, so okay, we'll stop and start. Okay, it's been 1 hour. So all right, see you soon.